So today I have a different type of video because 2 days ago, Ryan and I finally got vaccinated. So this is our little card as proof of our vaccination. So we just got the first dose of Astrazeneca here in London. So right now in London, I believe they're administering COVID vaccines to age group 45 to 50. Some areas, I think they're able to get people in who are in the age group of 40 and above as well. So we're still in our 30s, but the reason we were able to get these vaccines a bit earlier than our own age group is because I have pre-existing conditions that qualify me as a high-risk category. And because Ryan is my sole caretaker, he also qualifies as a caretaker or carer for me, who is in the high-risk group. I was in contact with my GP, and she was trying to see if she could get me in earlier, me and my husband earlier for vaccination. And 2 days ago, she just called me in the early afternoon and said, hey, we have 2 available vaccines that we can give you guys right now. Can you come in right now? So it was very sudden. We knew we were going to get vaccinated, but we didn't know when exactly. And to get a sudden urgent call like that, we were a bit surprised, but we said, yes, we'll be right there. So we dropped everything and headed over to the vaccination center. So because my GP had already sent our information to the vaccination center, they were expecting us. So we were able to get there, sit down, and get our vaccinations right away. So I don't have the actual video footage of us getting the vaccine because it all happened so quickly and everything, but I'll insert a little video now where we show ourselves going to the vaccination center, slightly excited, slightly anxious and nervous and scared at the same time. So we got the Astrazeneca vaccine. And I know that there has been a lot of talks and discussions and worries about potential blood clots related to AstraZeneca. So for me and Ryan, to be honest, we haven't done too much research prior to our vaccinations. We just heard that there are blood clot cases related to AstraZeneca vaccines. But just based on very limited research that we've done, we thought that risk was quite low, so we didn't really care and we just said yes and got our first dose of vaccinations. So don't quote me on this, but based on this article that I read, it says that 1 to 4 people in 1 million would develop this rare blood clot that they're talking about. And 1 in 1 million, 4 in 1 million, we thought that was a pretty low risk. And the benefits of getting the vaccine outweighed that, at least in our standards and in our minds. So we didn't care that we were getting the AstraZeneca vaccine. To be honest, I don't know if we have a real choice here to get whatever vaccine we wanted to. And for us, we wanted to get the vaccine as soon as possible, especially because I am in the high-risk group. And Ryan, even though he's quite healthy, he does have a history of asthma, which can be very bad with COVID. So we just wanted to get the vaccinations as early as possible. So we went and got it. So the actual vaccination process was very, very simple, more simple than we thought. Maybe because our GP has already sent her information into the center, they already had our names and everything. Maybe that's why. But they just asked our names and they said, great, sit down. You could choose which arm you wanted to get your shot. So I chose my left arm and they just said, are you ready now? And they just did it. and it was a very slight scratch. Ryan said he didn't even feel the actual needle going in, which is weird. I definitely felt something like a needle going in, a very small scratch going in, but nothing painful or anything, and it was done in about 2 seconds, and it didn't even bleed. I thought normally when you get a shot or a flu jab, you get a little band-aid to stop the bleeding or cover it up, but it didn't even bleed. They didn't even give you a band-aid, and they said you're all done, and they give you this little card as proof, and you head home. They also explained that you'll get the second dose in about 10 to 12 weeks.
The 6th of May.
That's 6th of May.
Let's try that again.
Before getting into the side effects and the symptoms that we had, I just wanted to briefly go over the efficacy of the vaccine. And again, don't quote me on this. These were just found on Google, and this was just to educate ourselves and also for you as well. But please do your own research before getting any type of vaccinations. AstraZeneca vaccine is great and effective at preventing COVID, and also even if you get COVID, I believe you can still get COVID even if you're vaccinated, but with the vaccination it reduces the severity, hospitalizations and death rate dramatically, so that's why getting vaccinated is important. And for the AstraZeneca vaccine, it says the efficacy rate is about 76% after the first dose. And with an interval of 12 weeks or more, the efficacy goes up to about 82% with your second dose. And the nurse who gave us the shots also mentioned that it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for your body to actually create the antibodies for the COVID virus. So even after you get vaccinated, you still need to be very careful for 2 to 3 weeks. And also, as far as I know, even if you are vaccinated and you may be safe from COVID, you could still be a carrier of COVID and give it to other people and spread it to other people who have not been vaccinated as well. So in the case of that, you still want to maintain social distancing, wear masks when you, wherever you're in a public space with other people, because you just don't know if you're spreading it to other people, and you don't know if other people have been vaccinated yet. So it's still very important to do all of that to protect yourself and also to protect others. The first couple hours, we were completely fine. Maybe we felt a little soreness in our arm where we got the shot, but besides that, we felt okay in general. The side effects and symptoms are very different for each person, and that was true for us as well. What I had experienced was very different from what Ryan has experienced. So I'll talk about what I experienced first, but I am not a great example because I have pre-existing conditions. So not going into too much detail, but I have autoimmune disorders, which pretty much means that my immune system is a bit crazy. So because my immune system is already weird and out of whack, my symptoms may not be representative of a lot of other normal, healthy people, and it might not be a great example. But for me, I had a very light symptom. So I had a bit more fatigue. This arm where I got the shot was sore, but I could still move it. It's still a bit sore. And I also had a stuffy nose and a slightly sore throat for the past 2 days, but nothing crazy. I also had some slight muscle aches, but not too bad. I was still able to move my muscles. But the biggest thing for me was the first night. So the first night we got our vaccinations, I couldn't sleep. I'm a big sleeper. I love sleeping, but I pretty much couldn't sleep all night long. I finally fell asleep 6:30 in the morning and slept for about 4 hours, I would say. And then I just woke up, which is very rare for me because I normally sleep around at least 8 hours a night. But the sleep part was a bit weird. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about the sleep side effects, but for both me and Ryan, we couldn't sleep the first night. So now let's talk about Ryan's case, which was very different. So Ryan's symptoms really started to kick in at night, the first night. So about, I would say around 2 a.m., I heard him get up to use the bathroom, and then he was just shivering. He had severe chills. I've never seen him shiver that much, and he said he was just so cold. He's never felt that cold in his life before. First, I got him to take paracetamol, which is the recommended medication to take when you're feeling this way after the vaccination. And I got him some more blankets, tried to keep him warm. So other symptoms he had severe muscle aches everywhere in his body, he said, from head to toe. And he said all his muscles were very sensitive to touch. So even just doing this kind of hurt him. He also had a slight headache, and he said he felt like a truck just ran over him, and a really bad case of the flu. So we tried to keep him under covers, give him lots of blankets, a lot of fluids, continued to have him take paracetamol for the next 24 hours. But he was still pretty much out of commission. He couldn't work at all the next day. He was just lying on our couch or our bed for a full 24 hours, I would say. But now, day 2, he woke up feeling a lot better, which is good. He does not have to take the medication anymore. So these are kind of our symptoms and side effects that we have experienced. It will be different for everyone, but just wanted to share this in case you are expecting to get the AstraZeneca vaccine. So if you're expecting to get vaccinated with AstraZeneca, some advice, I just have 2 advice for you. So the first advice is have paracetamol ready at home. Because you could be like me and not need it, but you could be like Ryan and need it right away. So you just want to be ready and just have it ready at your home. And advice number 2 would be don't plan anything important the next day. And if you can, try to take the day off from work the next day of your vaccination, just because you don't know how your body will react to this. And a lot of people have severe flu-like symptoms where you can't really do much for a whole day or 2. So just be prepared for that, and being also mentally prepared yourself that it could hit you hard like that. I think that would be a great idea. But all in all, we are so glad that we were able to get our vaccines. And even though we will still be careful and we still need to maintain social distancing and practice just general hygiene, washing our hands, using hand sanitizers, wearing masks and everything, but just mentally knowing that I got the vaccine and I will be reducing the risk of getting a severe case of COVID, just makes us feel a lot better. So yeah, there we go. When we get our second dose in about a couple months, I will also make another video to keep you guys updated on our second dose AstraZeneca vaccine journey. But that was it for now.